Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Catmose. I'm Stuart Williams, the principal. I'm a little bit less nervous than I was in my first speech because I have my daughter in the audience, and so I can relax a bit now, hopefully. I put up this photo about 5 minutes ago, and I wonder who's been looking at it closely, Year 6. Who's spotted the people in it? Somebody said people at the bottom, well done. There we go, look at the little white arrow. Yeah, little people. This is one of my photographs. I'm a physics teacher really, but I love photography, and I went to Canada in the summer. This is Takakawa Falls. I've stood where those people are and looked up in absolute awe at the majesty of it, but also realizing I was seeing only a little tiny bit of the waterfall. And it's a bit of a warning to you really, because changing from primary where you've been comfortable and enjoyed yourselves and got relaxed, and then coming to secondary can be a bit like this, where you'll go to the science labs and be in awe of what you see up there. You'll hear somebody like me talking about how wonderful our exam results and how great Ofsted is. Whereas what I would encourage you to do is talk to our students, talk to our staff, and get a real feel for what the bigger picture is like. I had to drag my family nearly 20 kilometres to get this photo up another mountain, because I wanted to see the big picture. And there's the Takakawa Falls from the first picture, but of course it was only the tiny bottom part of it. And of course what I'm talking about tonight and all of the other bits are all little parts of what makes Catmose just so special. For me, what makes me feel pride, it's when I see our students on the prom, where when I'm talking to them in the evening and they're reminiscing and they're talking about the great time they've had, the relationships, and of course what they're going to look forward to next, where I get that sense of success where whatever they've chosen they're going to do, I can relax a little bit knowing they're well prepared. They're good people, good team players, they've picked themselves up when life's got tough from time to time. And I've had those experiences here that will stand them in good stead, not just for the next couple of years, but for the rest of their lives. And here we go. As promised, I'm going to talk about exam results because everybody likes to know how schools' exam results are. And of course, I can relax because ours are wonderful. As you can see from these jumping students in that classic photo. We're also Ofsted Outstanding, at least back in 2012. And of course, a lot can happen in 5 years. Please be assured. Everything that was said in the Ofsted report is better now, but of course you need to judge that for yourselves. Here's all our results, here's all our GCSE results in any case. Now, I realise from the back you're not going to be able to see all of those subjects, but I'll put this online. We're a very transparent school. We want you to have a look at everything that's going on and make up your own mind. We offer a very traditional set of GCSEs. It'd be tempting to game the system to improve our standing on the performance tables, but frankly, we don't need to. We're already in the top 10 to 15% of all schools nationally. In the top 8 GCSEs that are counted by the government, our students, compared to the average, will make 4 grades better progress. And our more able students, 5. 80% of our students got at least a 4+ in English and maths, that basics measure. Our more able students, we had 25 students get the new 7 to 9 grades in 7 of their subjects, a full tutor group. That's some achievement in a year which has seen massive turbulence nationally with these new GCSEs. I got A star to C, I don't know about you. Of course, our students are now getting the 1 to 9 grades, and they're doing it in what are a very academically rigorous set of courses. But they're well supported at the college. Our teachers are exceptional. We have over 80 teachers, they're subject specialists, they're highly trained, often by us. We train our own teachers here, so we have the pick of the new recruits. I've chosen just a few snapshots. Mr. Lesky gets my Hero of the Year award. He came to Iceland with me, and we came across this waterfall in this deep crevice with this massive waterfall coming behind it, but the photo wasn't quite right, because we had no model. And so he waded, I do not exaggerate, through a frozen stream to get to it, had soaking wet foot, and then had the waterfall descending on him in a mist so that we could capture the perfect photos for our GCSE portfolios. Our teachers go the extra mile. I'm a physicist, as I said. This is Mrs. Collingwood, also a physicist. We are an Institute of Physics lead school. We train other schools locally in physics, because there's a national shortage of physics teachers. We have 4 here. I was asked by the Prime Minister, believe it or not, to send one of my teachers to meet her in Downing Street. There's Kate Dodd, one of my history teachers, one of the best history teachers in the country, but she's equally well supported by our other 2 history teachers, all of which get exceptional results. Next to them is Luke and Lee, our Director of Music and our Head of our Academic Scholarship Programme. They're over in Leicester Space Centre in this, and they're up in the library along with our Senko, the Harrington staff, and loads of other people who it's well worth talking to about the wider life of the college. I think other things make the college special. Our culture is very different to many secondary schools. I went to a comprehensive up in Liverpool, and I always swore once I'd left that I'd never run my school in that way, because of course we weren't allowed in until the bells went. As soon as the bells for the end of lesson sounded, we were escorted off the premises. There were very few trips or clubs. Staff just disappeared into a staff room. And when we were queuing in the restaurant for our meal at lunchtime, staff were just pushed to the front. We don't do any of that at the college. Our staff and students work together. So we don't have a staff room. Our staff and students share the same spaces. Our students can come in from 8 in the morning and they can stay till 5 o'clock at night. They can use any of our facilities. There are no locked doors. They can use the computers, the music practice rooms, the labs, the art facilities, everything that I might wish to. We have a very strong policy around uniform and behaviour, because our view is we should trust our students to do their very best, and that's how we should predicate everything that we do. And it works. There are very, very few students that we have to deal with who don't behave in the way that we would want, but because there are so few, we can deal with them very well. And so if you came around on a normal working day, and I'd invite you to do that, give us a ring and ask to come in for a tour during a normal school day and see what it's like when we've got the 1,000 students in the building. And it's actually a very, very calm place, excellent behaviour, and really focused, happy, purposeful students. The Student Council are a body that I work with very closely on things like our behaviour policy, on our uniform, on our expectations. They guide me regarding things that they want to see improved. And so we're on a drive at the moment to ban plastic across the organisation. And things like fundraising. So we chose last year to support this local charity, which is Children with Cancer, because it was something that was close to our heart. And we raised £2,000 through bake sales, through non-uniform days, and a variety of other events. And there's the Student Council presenting that cheque to the charity. Of course, exams are important, but they're only a very small part of the picture. And I came across this article in the Times, Pupils Thrive When Exams Take a Hike. And it was an article written about a school called Gordonstown, which some of you might know is where Prince Charles went to school. And they pride themselves on challenging their students through hiking, through external pursuits, through trips and visits. And it really chimed with me because it's so similar to what we try and do here, whereby our students are given the same sort of opportunities, but actually are challenged to fail. Because quite often in society at the moment, children grow up in a very closeted environment. They very rarely go outside without adult supervision. Where I contrast that with my own childhood, where I would go out and play in the streets. I would go wandering Liverpool, believe it or not, on a bus. You know, the idea of allowing your own child to walk even to the local shop at primary age would fill people with horror. And the same is, of course, true in secondary with mobile phones and the internet. Children very rarely venture out. And I think we lose things as a society if we're not careful, because the first time that they're exposed to the real world, it's too late. And so what we do here is deliberately put opportunities and challenges their way, which puts them outside of their comfort zone, and yet maybe they won't quite make it the first time, but they'll pick themselves up and they'll have another go. So when they do come across real adversity, as we unfortunately all do in adult life, they're well prepared for it and ready for it. And we do it in lots of different ways, playing to the strengths of our students. These are some of the more academic competitions. We entered over 20 last year. These are students in the top right my top right, I should say, who are part of our bridge team. For those who don't know, bridge is a card game which you have to be good at counting, good at numbers with. And these students competed in Stanford and Rutland and, as you can see, won the trophy. Student next to him has won a design award with a local company to design the front cover of a new chocolate bar that is sold across Rutland. Holly down here, she won the local poetry prize across Rutland. These three students competed nationally. They won the local competition, they won the county competition, they won the regional competition, and they went off to the national finals, and as you can see, came back with trophy wear. And these were Year 7 students doing public speaking against independent and grammar schools. Many of you will love sport. We love sport. We offer 20 different sports. Every night of the week there's a sport you can go along to and get involved with. We love competition. We love winning. You can see Catmose beat our nearest rival, John Fernley, by nearly 100 points last year. You can see our teams. That's the varsity team, over 200 students involved in it. And we want every student to contribute to this wider life of the college. It's really important to us to be part of that family. Given that we've won the varsity for the last 4 years, we really do challenge our students to go further. And so these are some of the students who've entered national competitions. These guys won gold medals in a national athletic competition. The students at the top compete in individual sports. Mary's a national judo champion. She is in the GB squad, junior GB squad. Excuse me, and Jamie next to her is a cracking sailor who competes nationally in sailing. And then these guys, and poor old Mr. Smith at the back looks tiny, doesn't he? This is our basketball team. He's not really that small in real life. Go and meet him in the library. He stepped back a bit too far when I took the photo. Absolutely cracking match of basketball, very, very high level in our own sports centre, which if you've not been, again, well worth a look. And those guys went through to the regional finals as well. Sports not your bag, maybe performances. Every Year 7 gets the opportunity to go down to London, see a West End show. Last year they went to go and see Aladdin, but they don't just go and see the show, they work with the actors afterwards. They go to the same studios, Pineapple Studios, the actors use, and they do some work there, and then they come back and their drama and music lessons is putting on that show. And you will be invited back to watch them all perform. Some of them are front of house people. They love singing, they love dancing, they may well be having lessons with us or lessons outside. Others get involved in the ensemble, but everybody takes a part. And for some of them, this grows into a great love of theatre. And it's not the only opportunity. Our students went on a performing arts tour around Amsterdam last year. And they performed across Amsterdam, a variety of tunes. You'll have heard some of them this evening from our jazz band. These students performed in Madagascar. They also, if this is their thing, can get technical. We have a full professional technical AV setup, and the students use the same thing as our AV technicians, and there they are using the sound and lighting desks that lit up the show. And those students were dancing and performing and singing to a live band. This year it'll be Sister Act, which students have been nervously auditioning for all week. About 25% of our students learn musical instruments. And if you're not already, I'd encourage you to. It's a great way to practice, learn a new skill. Yes, get things wrong. You can't help but play a bad note from time to time, but over time get better. And then, of course, you get to perform. And this was in our Christmas concerts, where you can see we have a bit of light relief, and the Student Council asked for a Christmas jumper day, where we all dug out our worst Christmas jumpers that our closest aunties had bought for us, and wore them as a day around the college, and then we wrapped that up with performances and talent shows and that sort of thing. Sometimes, of course, music is serious. And when it comes to remembrance, we take that very seriously at the college, and we invite all of our students who are in the cadets or in the brownies or the guides or the scouts to come in their uniform for the day and celebrate their part of the community. And then when we have our moment silence, they all get together on the Heller Up and stand to attention whilst we all listen to the last post. And you can only imagine what it feels like to have 900 students stood in silence whilst that's played. And we think about those people who've given their lives for us. On a happier note, we love trips and visits. I said at the beginning, I love the prom because people reminisce and they talk about the thing that they remember most. And for many of them, it's a trip or a visit they've been on. It might be sort of somewhere local like Oakham Castle, where we do some immersive work around history. Some of you who've had a tour already may have noticed some of our poor Year 11s limping, and that's because of the weekend. They were in the Peak District, walking 40 kilometres over 2 days, camping in between as part of their Duke of Edinburgh Silver Award. I've loved the fact that even though they've limped, they've turned up tonight and helped support the college, and that actually so many of them want to go on to Gold D&V, where they'll go and do wild camping in the wilds of South Wales or north of Scotland. Many of our students have supported projects in other countries. These students raised the money to go on expedition to the jungles of Sumatra and help support elephants that have been in slavery and have them recuperate to be able to have a better life. Some did work with orangutans within a sanctuary. Other students have been out to Ghana to help build an orphanage. Money that they've raised themselves to go on those expeditions. These students, wouldn't be my choice, being an Everton supporter, went up to Manchester to play football at Manchester City grounds and be coached by the same coaches that coached those professional footballers. It's no surprise that team did particularly well in the football varsity competition. These guys are over in Venice doing art and using the canals and the buildings of Venice as the backdrop for their paintings, and some of which, if you look at the exhibitions out front, are prevalent there. And if none of those strike your attention, there's about 100 different trips run every single year that you can go on. And it's quite a long list. Some local, some long way away. You know, these two, this is Owen and Alicia, who will be speaking in a minute. They're off to New York on a history trip in October. Our favourite part of the week, though, above all, is probably the electives. The electives happen every Wednesday, and students get to choose what they want to do. And there's 100 different choices. And again, there's some that challenge. Don't know how many of you parents would fancy holding that snake. I'm not sure I'd step forward. But for some of our students, perhaps it inspires them they want to work as a vet. Some of our students go horse riding for the very first time. Some students help run that horse riding elective because they compete nationally with horse riding, which we support them with. Some students learn a very particular type of technology or kit that they can't normally do in a lesson that requires some specialist support. And other students have done professional DJing, where we get a professional DJ in to coach how it's done. But they're just 4 examples. There's 100. And students choose this every year. It's chosen across year groups as part of our transition. So Year 7 students may well be mixing with Year 8, Year 9 and 10 students, so they get to know each other. Those students with the funny goggles are doing some virtual reality work. And then the student beneath, as you can see, is making a right mess of making some chocolate brownies. All good fun. But perhaps the best people to talk about the electives are our students. So I've invited Owen and Alicia to talk. Instead of me introducing Owen, I'm going to hand over to the BBC.
Time now at 7:50. Britain's biggest science and technology fair starts today to encourage more young people to become the engineers and scientists of the future. Let's go straight to our business correspondent who's there for us this morning. Just explain for us, Owen, what is the nature of the problem?
Good morning, everyone. I'm here at the Big Bang Science Fair. I'm Owen, and I do BBC News School report at my school. We're expecting thousands of people here.
Well, thank you, Owen. Now, you may be wondering how I was given the opportunity to present live on BBC Breakfast. Well, it all started when I was much smaller, much quieter, and much more nervous as I opened the door to my chosen elective at the time, BBC News School Report. Here, I learned lessons on media and presenting. I was then chosen to anchor our annual show, something at which I was truly apprehensive about at the time. But I quickly noticed I had the belief in my teachers, my peers, encouragement from every direction. This grew my confidence and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I went on to join the media team, where I've been given opportunities to interview GB athletes and special visitors to the school. And then, last March, I was invited to present live on BBC Breakfast in front of 2 million people. It was an opportunity that I'll never forget, a memory only achievable at Catmose College.
That's what's so great about the electives programme. Every Wednesday afternoon you get to do things you've never dreamt of. As well as giving students the chance to get involved with things they may otherwise not experience, it's a great way to meet new people with similar interests to you, not only in your year but right across the college. One of the best electives I've been part of has been the Madagascar elective, creating and performing the musical. It gave me a chance to use my passion outside of school of dance, creating the dances for the musical. As well as giving me more dance experience, it was a great way to develop my leadership skills, creating dances to everyone's talents and teaching them to the whole cast. I took part in a range of activities in Year 7, from performing as a donkey in the Christmas concert to running 800 metres on Sports Day. I really took advantage of all the incredible events on offer here. This gave me a good base for moving up through the school. I knew my strengths so I could play to them in future events and showcase what I was good at.
One of my strengths is sport. For the last 4 years, I've been part of 4 varsity winning school teams, and our sporting success will only continue to grow. This year, the school made a huge change to our annual sports day. We selected a format chosen by our student council, where in the morning we hosted athletics events for the more competitive athletes. And in the afternoon, we held team sports such as football, netball, rounders, and many more, so that every Catmose student could get involved. We also had a scoreboard and live point system updated constantly throughout the day by our amazing student IT team. Every Catmose student was involved, and they brought the college closer together as a family. We're not just achieving greatly in sport, but in March, a team of Year 7s came 3rd in the national final of the Rotary Club's You Speaks competition against some local independent and selective schools that will remain nameless. Tom McHenry was awarded the best speaker in the country, an amazing achievement for someone in their first year of Catmose. I've experienced memories and opportunities that people would dream of, but the best opportunity the school has given me is a learning environment where you're not just working alongside your peers, you're working with professionals and subject specialists that will push you on as much as they can. We have some excellent relationships with our teachers. I received so much support from Miss Maynell, who runs our media team. She has given me so many opportunities that I am so thankful for, and she'd love to give every Catmose student an opportunity to excel.
One of Catmose's opportunities that has particularly supported and challenged me is the Academic Scholarship Programme. It's open to students in Year 9 and 10 and is for students who really excel in a certain subject area, to give them the extra support from mentors needed to help them reach their full potential. In addition to extra support and funding, we're also given a range of other opportunities. These include super curricular and cultural trips and the chance to work with Cambridge University to get a taste of what it's like to write a university research project. As a Silver Drama Scholar, this was a great opportunity for me to look into the evolution of the Disney franchise and the making of films that could help me in the future pursuing my love of drama. We were also given the chance to take a Mensa IQ test, which resulted in me being accepted into Mensa. I'm not sure all my friends would agree, but this means I have an IQ in the top 2% of the population. With the support of this programme, the possibilities really are endless. I hope that tonight we have given you a snapshot of the things on offer here at Catmose that really are unmatched, and hopefully convince you to choose this school as the place to guide you through the 5 most important and of course enjoyable years of your life so far.
Ladies, gentlemen, and prospective fellow students, Alicia and I would like to thank you for listening this evening. We hope our experiences of the school have intrigued you, for the students in the room have excited you. We love this school, and at the end of the year, when we wave goodbye to the school, we won't wave goodbye to the memories that we've created here. We hope that you can create many great ones here too. Thank you very much.